kill AI artists. When I see those words, more than just alarming, it's chilling. How do we get to a place where a phrase like that is part of the conversation about art?
It is a phrase that makes you stop and think, definitely. And that's really at the heart of this deep dive today, looking at a lot of discussions about AI art. And yeah, the phrase kill AI artists is like this lightning rod for all the anxiety swirling around this tech.
It's intense. We're talking like heated threads on social media, articles, all kinds of passionate responses to AI art. And, well, that's what we're here to untangle, to really get into, like, why this topic has people so fired up.
And essential to remember, real people behind these usernames, right? Hopes, fears, careers, passions, all being impacted by AI art, in different ways.
Oh, absolutely. So let's dive into the deep end, shall we? We keep seeing this phrase, kill AI artists. In one really aggressive post, someone wrote it in all caps. We need to kill AI artists. Beyond a joke at that point.
Provocative, for sure. Makes you question the intent, right? Like, are they venting, trying to be shocking? Or is there something, I don't know, more dangerous at play?
Words have power, right?
Right.
And when you see this kind of language again and again, it creates this unsettling feeling,
Like repeatedly throwing a match on dry leaves, you're just waiting for something to ignite. There's even a term for this kind of rhetoric, stochastic terrorism.
Whoa, okay, that sounds intense. What exactly does that mean?
So we found this term in a source called MAGA-Nazi, which basically it monitors online extremism. Stochastic terrorism is when public communication, often online, is used to incite violence, not about directly telling someone to commit an act, more about creating an environment where someone might feel justified in doing so because their grievances have been validated.
So you're saying that even if someone doesn't literally mean kill AI artists, like using that phrase over and over creates this potentially dangerous atmosphere, especially for people already feeling threatened by AI.
Exactly. Emotions run high on both sides of this debate. People are deeply invested in the future of art and their place in it.
Adding fuel to the fire. And it's not just in that one community. We saw another source, a group called AI Haters, that's basically dedicated to, well, criticizing anything AI related. And the concerning thing is how normalized this hostile rhetoric has become in some corners of the internet.
It's become so commonplace, it's easy to become desensitized to it. We need to remember that this kind of language can have real-world consequences, though. Silence dissent, stifle creativity, create a climate of fear and intimidation, really.
Like shouting down anyone who tries to have a nuanced conversation. But let's be honest, it's rarely black and white, is it? There's a lot of gray area when it comes to how people are using and feeling about AI art.
Absolutely. And one of the sources we explored highlighted this really well, a discussion thread called What I've Learned Through Engagement. And it argued that a lot of the animosity stems from a fundamental difference in values between, the two sides.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this difference in values.
Well, the source suggested that a lot of traditional artists, they find deep meaning and value in the artistic process itself. Time, the effort, the skill, it's all part of what makes it art to them.
It's about the journey, not just the destination.
Right. They even made this great analogy comparing traditional art to putting chisel to marble, a process that requires immense skill, dedication, a deep understanding of your materials.
We're talking years of practice, honing your craft. It's the difference between, hand carving a beautiful wooden sculpture and just like assembling one from a pre-made kit.
Right.
Both result in the sculpture, but the effort and skill involved are worlds apart.
Exactly. And the source argued that for some traditional artists, AI art feels more like that assembling from a kit approach. Like you're, bypassing those years of dedicated practice and skill building that they associate with real art.
So it's not just about the final product. It's about the value placed on the process itself.
Yeah.
And, well, when those values clash, things get heated.
Precisely. The source even went on to say that this difference in values can lead to a sense of, devaluation among traditional artists. Their years of hard work and dedication are being, undermined in a way.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, imagine pouring your heart and soul into something only to have someone come along and achieve a similar result with, a few clicks of a button.
Yeah.
It's easy to understand why some artists would feel threatened.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And this feeling of being undervalued can manifest in a lot of ways, from frustration, resentment, to, in some cases, the hostility and fear-mongering we see online.
Like a powder keg waiting to explode. But it's interesting. Not everyone using AI art is doing it to replace traditional artists or devalue their work.
Right.
In fact, we found a discussion thread titled, Any Other Shades of Gray Here? that really highlighted the spectrum of perspectives on this.
That's a great point. That thread was a breath of fresh air, really, because it moved beyond the pro-AI versus anti-AI shouting match, and it showed how people are actually using this technology in, like, nuanced and varied ways.
We saw everything from people using AI for personal projects, like generating fun images for their social media, to like professional artists incorporating it into their creative process. Even we came across this fascinating example of a game developer who uses AI to create assets for their games.
Oh, wow.
And they talked about how AI allows them to, bring their vision to life in a way they wouldn't be able to otherwise, due to time and budget constraints.
That's really cool.
It is. That's a great example of how AI can be a tool for creative empowerment, not just disruption.
Yeah.
It's like having like a whole team of assistants working behind the scenes to help you realize your vision.
Right. It underscores the importance of looking beyond, like, the loudest voices in this debate.
For sure.
Because it's easy to get caught up in the extremes, right? But the reality, like so many things, it's much more complex and nuanced.
It reminds me of that powerful magazine cover we saw, the one from INQUISITOR Monthly, with the unemployed designer holding a sign that reads, "We'll make AI slop for food."
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's a stark reminder that AI is already impacting livelihoods, and that fear of job displacement is very real for people.
Absolutely. Powerful image that speaks to, like, the anxieties many people have about, like, how AI will impact their futures. But it's important to remember that technology, often, it has unintended consequences, right? And its impact can be both positive and negative.
And sometimes those negative consequences disproportionately impact those who are already, marginalized.
Exactly. Take, for instance, the post that we found titled, "Our Artisate Goes to War with People with Disabilities." It highlighted how some of the anti-AI rhetoric has taken an ableist turn, specifically targeting individuals with disabilities who rely on AI as an assistive tool.
That's heartbreaking. It really underscores the need for sensitivity and awareness in these conversations. We can't let our fears about technology lead us down this path of exclusion and discrimination.
Absolutely. This source, they shared some truly powerful stories from people with disabilities who rely on AI for things like writing or creating art. They talked about how AI allows them to participate in activities that would otherwise be inaccessible to them, and how hurtful it is to be accused of cheating or not being real artists because they use these tools.
It's a stark reminder that technology can be both empowering and exclusionary, and that we need to be mindful of how our words and actions impact others, especially those who are, most vulnerable.
And that brings us back to the question of what we do about all of this, right? Because AI isn't going away. So how do we navigate this new landscape in a way that's ethical, inclusive, and beneficial to everyone?
That's the million-dollar question. And luckily, several of the sources we explored offered some, potential solutions, pathways forward. One of the most common themes was the need for clear legal frameworks to protect artists' rights in the age of AI. What I've learned through engagement thread, for instance, argued that we need stronger copyright laws to prevent artists' work from being used without their consent in AI training data sets.
Makes sense.
It does. A lot of artists feel like their work is being exploited, fed into these AI systems without their permission or compensation. It's like the Wild West out there, and we need some rules of the road.
Exactly. And that source also brought up a really interesting example from the entertainment industry. The partnership between Lionsgate and Runway.
Oh, yeah. Runway, that's the AI video generation company, right?
Exactly. They partnered with Lionsgate to develop AI tools, specifically trained on Lionsgate's, vast film library. It's a fascinating case study because it shows how AI can be integrated into existing creative workflows, but it also, raises all sorts of questions about ownership, control, compensation.
Right. This double-edged sword. On the one hand, it could lead to incredible new possibilities in filmmaking. But on the other hand, it could also further marginalize artists, especially if they're not, properly compensated or recognized for their contributions.
Exactly. And that's why we need those tough conversations about how to balance innovation with protecting artists' rights. Not about stifling progress. It's about making sure that everyone benefits.
Right. It's about creating a future where AI, enhances human creativity, not erases it.
Precisely. And, beyond legal frameworks, there's also a lot of discussion about the need for, more nuanced and respectful dialogue in general.
Like that post we read, yes, this sub may be more in favor of AI art. it felt like a breath of fresh air amidst all the the negativity.
Right. That post challenged the idea that everyone who's interested in AI art is incapable of, respectful debate. They argued that, painting everyone with a broad brush only serves to further divide us and that we need to be more open to understanding different perspectives.
It's about bridging the divide, not widening it.
Mhm.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, aren't we all in this together? AI is here to stay, and it's going to impact all of us, right?
Right.
Whether we're artists or engineers or just people who, enjoy experiencing and engaging with art.
Exactly. And that's what makes this such a crucial conversation to be having, especially now. We're not just talking about the future of art. We're talking about the future of creativity, expression, even what it means to be human in a world, well, a world increasingly shaped by artificial intelligence.
It's a lot. Can feel, I don't know, kind of overwhelming at times, especially when you see the really extreme reactions and fear-mongering you see online.
True. But I think what gives me hope is that alongside the negativity, there are also these glimpses of, real curiosity, thoughtful engagement, a genuine desire to find solutions that work for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember that what I've learned through engagement thread, it wasn't all doom and gloom. They actually talked about how AI could benefit the art community, maybe in some unexpected ways.
That's right. Like they said, if used thoughtfully, AI could actually, I don't know, free up artists to take more risks, to experiment more, to
Right.
just focus on creating art for art's sake rather than just for commercial viability.
Imagine a world where, AI takes care of all the, I don't know, the tedious technical parts of making art, like generating background scenery or cleaning up 3D models, and then the artists are freed up to really focus on the conceptual, the emotional, the truly, human elements of their craft.
Wow. Yeah.
It's a gap.
It's like AI could become this collaborative partner, a powerful tool to help artists push the boundaries of the creativity in ways they never even thought possible before.
Giving wings to their imagination. And it's not even just established artists. Think about what this tech could mean for aspiring creators, people who maybe wouldn't have the resources or access to traditional art education.
Leveling the playing field, giving everyone the opportunity to express themselves creatively, regardless of their background or skill level. I like that.
It's a powerful thought, isn't it? This tech that often feels shrouded in, so much fear and uncertainty that it could actually democratize creativity, make art accessible to everyone.
A hopeful vision of the future, for sure. One where, AI and human ingenuity work together to create something, really extraordinary.
So we're wrapping up this deep dive, and I'm feeling, I don't know, cautiously optimistic. A lot of challenges ahead, important conversations. But, also a lot of potential for really positive change here.
Cautious optimism, that's a good way to put it, I think. Because ultimately we have a choice to make as individuals and as a society, too. We can choose to, approach all this with fear, resistance, or we can approach it with curiosity, empathy, a willingness to find that common ground.
And I hope that by taking this deep dive with us, that you, the listener, I hope you feel, I don't know, maybe a little more equipped to, engage in those conversations, to ask those tough questions, to help in your own way, shape a future where AI enhances our creative potential rather than diminishing it.
Because the future of art, it's
Yeah.
not going to be determined by algorithms or code. It's going to be determined by the choices we make today.
That's a powerful thought to end on. So to our listener out there,
Yeah.
how will you use your voice, your creativity to shape the future of art in the age of AI?